Conan's latest bundle, Hyrkanian Stable, has finally galloped onto the Bazaar, offering to saddle you up with new horse-themed items, but at a cost. Is this new bundle a stable investment? Firstly, a disclaimer, this set was gifted to me by Funcom. Just like all my other reviews, that will in no way affect my opinions of this set, nor will it affect my recommendation or lack thereof. So without further ado, let's get started. The Hyrkanian Stables bundle comes in at 1,988 Crom coins, equivalent to $16.56, so we'll call it $16.50. The bundle contains the following items: the Hyrkanian Horse Stable, the Corral Fence, the Haystack Placeable, the Hyrkanian Emblem Banner, the painted Hyrkanian horse skin, and 2 Hyrkanian themed emblems, one for the background and one for the foreground. So let's start with the simple stuff and work our way up. Firstly, the emblem pieces. They're pretty self-explanatory, a simple pattern in the rear and the head of a horse on the foreground. I'll be brutally honest, I'm not feeling this. I don't feel like the emblems have all that much synergy together, they're just kind of there. The background is the biggest letdown, I think. It's just too visually noisy to work with the foreground. On their own, the background still isn't great. It works with a couple of foreground emblems, but not many. The horse head is better. It's not the best, but it does work well with some of the more simple backgrounds. Overall, kinda disappointed by the emblems. They don't seem to naturally synergise, and they're not also super flexible with other emblem pieces. The Hyrkanian painted horse is a brown and white mount with Hyrkanian symbols painted around the neck and legs, with its hair tied in the Hyrkanian style. It appears to be statistically identical to the base game horses, behaves the same, and of course can be equipped with a saddle. You can make this horse by using a sorcerer's pet food with any base game horse in the inventory. Aesthetically, this horse is decent. The paint looks a little odd to me, almost like it's beveled at the edges, but aside from that, it's fine. It does predictably work quite well with the Hyrkanian saddle from the Plains Rider bundle, but also works decently with base game saddles too, though different saddles do of course cover different amounts of the paint. Overall, the painted horse is pretty nice. It fits the theme of the bundle very well, though it's not outstanding. The Hyrkanian Emblem Banner is a huge double-flagged banner with Hyrkanian motifs, including a shield on the pole and metal ornaments at the top. As emblem banners go, this one is pretty good. Nearly uniform on both sides, it's quite a glorious banner, really brings the feeling of prestige, and because of the detailing on the flags themselves, the emblem placement and size isn't too big or too small, it feels just about right. My only real complaint is that placement of the banner itself can be a bit finicky at times. Overall, it's a pretty simple item, but this banner is one of my favourites in the set, and possibly one of my favourite emblem banners in the entire game. It really feels prestigious and it works really well. The Haystack Placeable is, well, a haystack, contained within a rustic Hyrkanian wooden frame. It does what it says on the box, and is a more organised way of placing hay into a stable without using the more messy piles from the Riders DLC. That being said, the detail on this placeable is a bit weak. It's alright from a distance, but up close it lacks a lot of the roughness you'd expect to see on the edges, and the texture does look a little overbaked. I don't think it's a make or break. I doubt anyone is buying this bundle just for the haystack, but it's okay, it just could be better. The Hyrkanian Corral Fence is a rustic, free-placed fence designed for making corrals on the natural ground, as opposed to building a proper stable. It definitely suits that vibe, made of raw wood held together with nails, and aesthetically it looks very nice. Functionally, it's okay, but detail-orientated players will be frustrated. The clip box of this item is, much like a lot of other free-placed items, not very forgiving, meaning that if you do build a corral on the ground, or if you just try to use the fences in general, there will be very small gaps between each fence piece. If you don't really care about that, it's fine, but if that's the kind of thing that annoys you, it will do the same here. Aesthetically, the fence is great, but it could be functionally much better if it had more overlap tolerance. Finally, the Hyrkanian Horse Stable. This is a reskin of the base game stables with identical crafting costs and seemingly identical taming times too. Aesthetically, the stables are great, a very tent-like design in a nice compact package. The platform the stable sits on also really sells the rustic effect quite nicely, and you have some more ornate decorations alongside the rustic wooden fencing and fabric roof. I have seen some people express some disappointment that you can't actually open the gate and place a horse inside or ride it inside. Whilst that is expected, as this is a crafting station, it does feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity to iterate more upon the standard format. That being said, you can store a fully grown but not deployed horse in the stable where they'll just kind of stand around. The stable itself is pretty nice, but I'll be honest, it's not super impressive to me. Maybe that's just me, but I can't say I'm super enthused by it. Overall though, nicely made. So it's time for our overarching question: is the Hyrkanian Stable bundle worth your money? Everything here is put together reasonably well, aside from some complaints about the emblems and minor issues with details like the haystack. The set is very thematically cohesive with common elements across almost every item, which is something I look for, but to be honest, I also feel like this bundle doesn't really have that one item that's sort of the star of the show. The stable is probably intended to be that, but it doesn't really move me all that much. I like the designs here, but nothing really calls out to me, and personally, I don't really feel drawn to any single item aside from maybe the Emblem Banner. For $16.50, that's not really what you want. I feel like this bundle lacks a real pull factor, and no one item stands out as a must-have. Everything kind of sits somewhere between okay and decent, apart from the emblems, and that's not something I really want to feel when I'm looking at a premium bundle like this. All in all, I do not recommend the Hyrkanian Stables bundle. If there's one or two items you really like, I would advise waiting until they're sold separately. I just don't think this bundle's price matches what you're getting. Anyway, that will wrap us up for today. Thank you for watching. Do let me know what you think of the bundle in the comments below. For me, it's not really giving me any strong feeling in terms of like or dislike, but that might be different for you. If you enjoy the videos, do check out the Patreon page through the link in the description. There's early access to videos, wallpapers, video credits, and much more, and joining us helps out the channel massively. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.